Hi everybody, I'm just recording a quick demonstration for Clip Studio Paint. I was doing a speed draw and made a mistake and realized other people have heard other people tweet about how to fix this same mistake in regarding Clip Studio Paint before, so I thought I'd show how I solved the problem. Specifically, this is a problem when, okay, see my inks and my pencils are on two different layers. Wonderful, great. This problem is when you accidentally, here I'm going to merge them real quick, inked on the same layer you penciled. And this tutorial or demonstration is specifically for people who don't ink with aliased lines. If you don't know the difference, and knowing the difference will probably be pretty helpful, but let me zoom into 100%. Anti-aliased lines have some processes done to them where here, it'll actually be better demonstrated with a smooth brush. Here we go. Where here is a brush with anti-aliasing. And you see if you zoom in, you can see all these little grays and not quite black in the pixels because it's trying to sort of give it a little blend, soften the edges. Here's an even softer one. You can see it's just a little blur. It's just to give it kind of a more natural look, but that is frequently not used in digital art. Often lines don't have any anti-aliasing, so they will look like this. So zoomed in, there's only black. It's only black and only white. This does mean you have to draw in a really high resolution so that, because once you, see when you zoom out, it looks smooth. And that's the same concept with printing. Now, a lot of artists ink like this with aliased line work, and it's to have crisper lines. It's to avoid problems with, it's to make fill tools easier, things like that. I don't do that because I don't like it. I like my brushes to kind of feel like real brushes. So, like, this is my favorite brush to ink with. It's got a texture, a tooth to it, and I like the splotchiness of it. So I am one of the people who inks with a brush like that. Problem with a brush like that is it's way harder to get your inks and your pencils separated. Now, I have the benefit of inking in blue, so it makes some things a little easier, but I'm going to ignore some of the traditional ways to fix it and go with a very specific Clip Studio method. So, to fix this, excuse me, I have a sniffle. Let's drop that layer. You can, I am going to put a layer, because I just ink and pencil on transparent layers, and that's why I don't have any white in it. I'm going to make a layer under the illustration, merge my mistake onto it. And this is actually incredibly simple. Let me zoom in just to make sure I get it. I'm just going to go, I'm going to, there's multiple ways you can do this. I'm going to take away all the saturation. I'm going to do it like that way. Another way you can do it is you can select this layer color and make it the layer color black, and it'll have the same effect. But I prefer to do the take the saturation away that way. And then I'm going to zoom in real close so I can see my lines, and I am going to go to brightness and contrast and bump the contrast until I see the pencil start to disappear. Now, this is going to affect your line work. You are going to lose some detail. It's just how it is. Like, let's take the preview away. That looks pretty comparable. You can also, like, take the brightness down. You can even get it to a point where, like, you have, I'm comfortable erasing all that. Or you can bump the brightness up. Bumping the brightness up will make it easier, but you're going to lose some detail. So let's... And that's why I like to use brightness and contrast for this, because you kind of get to play with the levels. I just realized it's not recording the brightness and contrast window. Sorry about that. I don't know why, but long story short, here, let me start over. Okay. I'm going to have to narrate just so you know. Okay, I'm bringing up the brightness and contrast window. Here I have bumped up the brightness to about 16. I've bumped up the contrast until I can't see the pencils anymore. And now I'm playing with the brightness and bumping it up a little more. Okay, I'm going to bump the contrast down a little because I'm trying to preserve some of those little details. There we go. I'm happy with that. What you see there, I am happy with. I can live with it. So I'm going to press OK. So now what we have is my inks. But, you can see a little of my pencils. Let's go back and change it. See? Doing it this way is just a little funky. I think you can do this with levels too. And it'll be a little easier. So let's bump the... Let's see. Yeah, okay, that looks... Okay, actually, that looks fine. I'm losing some fine detail, but I can go back and do that easy. So here it is. Zoomed out, honestly, you couldn't even tell. So, however, I still have the white background, which I don't like to have when I do my inks because it means I can't do color holds. So to get rid of the background is the white background, is extremely easy in Clip Studio Paint. You're going to go to Edit, Convert Brightness to Opacity. Oh, you can't see in the drop down. Okay, so let me narrate again. I don't know why it's not recording. I press Edit, scroll down to an option called Convert Brightness to Opacity. You click it, and what basically does, the brighter a color is, the more transparent it becomes. So all of the white is gone. All of the light grays that are from, my kind of anti-aliased inking become slightly transparent. So it's basically just like I inked it with the brush onto a transparent layer. So that I can, color under it, or that's over it. Let me go to the layer underneath it. I can color under it, and if I lock the transparency, I can still do my color holds. So there's that. I threw this together really fast because, I'm not going to put this little tutorial behind Patreon because this is kind of like I see this has an emergency so often. I figured I'd just slap it together real quick so people can see an option available to them if they are using Clip Studio Paint and they have that problem. It's way harder to get your inks back if your pencils that you merged onto are really, really, really dark. And again, it's easiest if you did alias inking, but I don't do alias inking. I don't like it. You'll have to come into my house and make me do it. So, all things considered, yeah, those inks actually look pretty darn good. Like, I did lose a little detail, like on the nose and in some of these hatching, but it turned out pretty fine. Like, if this was for a comic project, like this is about how it resizes to, you'd never know I lost detail. So yeah. That's it for the tutorial. I'm going to end this video. Bye.